Council election, the Kano State Independent Electoral Commission, KANSEC, has presented certificates of return to the 44 newly elected local government chairmen in the state. Now, this came after the chairman of the commission, Sani Malumfashi, announced that the new Nigeria People's Party NNPP won all the 44 chairmanship and 484 councillorship seats in the state on Saturday. Issuing the certificates to winners in the election on Sunday morning, Malumfashi emphasized that the poll was smooth and orderly across the state. However, the National Patriotic Coalition (NPC) has described the recently conducted local government elections in the state as not only a sham, but also comedy taken too far. The coalition, led by Kunle Solomon, claimed that the outcome of the council poll lacks legitimacy. Governor Abba Yusuf has inaugurated the council chairman. Now let's share that moment with you.
KANSEC, in the fulfillment of its statutory responsibility, had successfully conducted council elections in all the 44 local government areas across the 484 registration areas of the state. And by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, today we have 44 duly elected chairmen of all the local governments and 484 duly elected councillors. I therefore want to thank and congratulate the leadership and management of KANSEC.
All right, let's bring the conversation home. Majid, KANSEC has presented certificates of return to the elected council chairman. But first of all, let me start this way. What are your thoughts concerning the election? Despite the court order, the court order, declaring the constitution of the KANSEC board.
We're discussing backstage. Governors have become emperors, and whether it's in Kano or Rivers, every other state, there's nothing like local government election. It's all sham. It's a mere coronation. Look at what happened in Rivers. That was about 2-3 weeks ago. The governor, when he knew that he could not use his political party, directed everybody to move to APP, a party that is not even known in the state, and all of them won.
And they won.
Yes.
It was a coronation.
In Akwa Ibom, that one was very funny. Because the governor didn't want to offend the Akpabio.
The Senate president.
Yeah, he gave him his local government. So he allowed the APC.
And then later said that they will have to investigate how
he won. So it's not only in Kano, but that of Kano is rather very shameful because there was a court order that declared, two court orders that declared unconstitutional the constitution of
the board
of KANSEC.
board.
And apart from that, there was an internal crisis within the NNPP where the founders of the party who borrowed Wakwanso and quote unquote, who borrowed them the platform to use, are now saying they want their platform back because they are not living up to the terms of the agreement. So they declared most of the candidates as not members of the party. So they still went. So it's like a two issues. It's a two-pronged thing. But the icing on the cake was how 44 chairmen could emerge under NNPP and 484 councillors in a clean sweep, in a landslide. So, I saw some of the videos where some small children were voting. I think the National Assembly should, fast track that law that will empower INEC to take over the conduct of elections at the local at the local council, because what the state governors are.
I think if INEC takes over, there will be some sort of
yes, there'll be some level of credibility. Honestly, I'm not saying it's going to be 100%, but you won't. It
will be different from what we have.
If it's different from what we are seeing now, where in a state like Kano, you will have, or even Kaduna, where you have a clean sweep, 100% by a party. No, it won't happen. We have seen some states where you see, even Lagos, you still have, I think, members of we have the Labour Party winning reps seats in a national election. If it were to be a local government, it will not happen. In a local government election, it will not happen.
Okay.
So, we should revisit a situation where governors are allowed to unpick members of the State Electoral Commission. It's not just working. It's not only in Kano. It happened in Rivers, happened in Kaduna, Imo, everywhere.
Imo, Anambra.
They will record 100%. Right. That has become like a one-party
is a coronation.
All right, Emeka, CANSEC has issued certificates of return. What should we be expecting going forward?
No, in fact,
perhaps further litigation?
No, you see, I think we've turned, governance at local government level into a charade, into a joke. It's just like you're coronating traditional rulers. So they should no longer call them local government chairmen. They just call them traditional rulers of local government, so that we just know you will put, maybe beads on their heads, or put, and then they can be there, for the 3 years that I think the Constitution permits. Otherwise, you see, democracy is about the plurality of views. It's not about one man, one party carrying it all. That's why we've also talked about independent candidacy.
Okay.
But the National Assembly has been foot dragging on it. Independent candidacy. So that it's not just about political parties, and all that, because it has shown that political parties are no longer the vehicles for delivering democracy dividends to the people. They are just now vehicles for just, promoting people into political office. And when you have such a situation, democracy is just thrown, into the dark corners, while the personal interest of those who wield who control the treasury is, paramount. And how do we deal with it? Now, when we talk about INEC handling the elections, also remember now we're talking about state police. We are saying the states should handle security, So are we going to get to a point where we will now, from state police, we'll be talking of going back to the federal police? Why is it that the states themselves, that the governors cannot be trusted enough to handle local government elections? It is a big dent. It is a big letdown. It is a disgrace. If the governors don't know, it is a disgrace, a big disgrace, that they cannot be trusted. Because power is entrusted. Power is earned, is entrusted. It is not as if you just go to a supermarket and go and buy power. You have to work for it. You have to woo the people, win their trust. So a situation where governors, not a single governor, can be said, be trusted that, okay, this man will conduct the local government election that will meet at least, even if it is 70% or even if it is 40%, you cannot, then there is a problem.
Okay.
And that means that the governors don't care about the trust deficit in which they are currently mired. Now, the issue is this: if we are going to go to INEC, people ask the question, has INEC organized elections that also meet globally acceptable standards? That is another problem, And then look at the Togri and all that. They've even elevated it to the point that in some states there was even no voting. There was a newly, sworn in local government chairman in one state. He attended a function, just some days ago, where he was, saying that, you people, there were a lot of ordinary people there. Said, you people, I want to thank you for coming out to vote. And the women there said, we didn't vote for anybody. He repeated it. They said, we didn't vote for anybody. So when the people themselves are coming out to tell you, that we didn't vote for you, then it means that all of them are just holding empty mandates.
The issue of conflicting court judgments, especially in Kano State, is it time for us to start calling out the judiciary on this issue? The Federal High Courts declared the Council Board and the Kansiek Board illegal. The State High Court said, no, go ahead with the election. Conflicting. Is it time for us to start calling out the judiciary on this matter?
It's a test case for the new chief, for the CJN, Chief Justice Kekere, who we believe is a very firm person. And as I was coming in now, I saw a directive which she has issued to the warring parties in the River State Judiciary to come and explain why they have been given pro-Wike and pro-Fubara judgments. I mean, yeah, I want to believe she shouldn't just stop at Rivers. I mean, you see courts of coordinate jurisdiction giving different summons, different judgments, different rulings, and people will get confused on which one to believe, which one to obey. I mean,
and governments now cherry pick the ones to.
They now cherry pick. You know, look at the issue of the Labour Party, even NMPP. You see a particular group. I mean, quoting probably a Federal High Court in Abuja. Another one will be quoting a Federal High Court in Lagos. The same Federal High Court. But for different jurisdictions, they say one has a locus, one does not have a locus. Is it locus sitting or locus standing? So it's like they have reduced the judiciary to mincemeat, that people just pick whatever they like.
So the one you like. And
I mean, it behoves on the new CJN to affirm, I mean, the relevance of the judiciary, so that people can still see it as a place ordinary people can run to. I mean, it's becoming so messy. What happened in Kano, it's so shameful that the local government system is the closest, it's the closest to the grassroots, and where people just emerge without being voted for, not only in Kano, all over it. That's why we are not getting the local government system right.
Now, are we going to continue like this?
Well, the judiciary should come to play, and probably we should also beg our governors to at least to allow some sanity at the local government level, because why most governors want, that's why some of them are trying to quarrel with the president for trying to enforce autonomy at the local government level.
Okay.
So if we have autonomy at the local government level, I think that we could have a semblance of a governance at the grassroots. You see some roads that are supposed to be handled by local governments, they'll be calling on federal government
to come and
as if the local government is not even in existence. We have some roads that are supposed to be done by state. You see the state saying, this is not my road, it's federal government road, but then it is in your state, it's killing people in your state. So some of these things, we need to address them. But by and large, the judiciary has a critical role to play in ensuring that we stop having all these parallel judgments coming from different courts.
Your parting thought here, should we start calling out the judiciary?
Yeah, I think the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, should use some judges as an example.
As an example?
Some judges should be dismissed, and if possible prosecuted. Yes, because they are taking Nigerians for granted. Nigerians are just, let me tell you, see the poverty in this country, can be dealt with if the local government system is working. Do you know in some other countries, local governments actually build council flats?
Yeah.
Local governments, in conjunction with the private sector, build airports.
In the UK,
local governments engage in different things that generate jobs, that generate, a lot of money. So if you want to tackle poverty, you must start at the local government level. And you see, the National Assembly, needs to hold a public hearing, needs to look at this issue of, local governments, the state independent electoral commissions. Some fundamental changes must be made in the forthcoming constitutional review. There must be some fundamental changes so that we will put an end to this mess. It's just a charade. It's a disgrace.
Anyway, thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having this conversation. Majid Jami, appreciate you as always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having this conversation. I want to say a big thank you to the gentlemen, the MCR and the PCR, for pressing the buttons accordingly for us to have a beautiful show. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11 and join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at YouTube.